We're going to talk about the Department of Justice and the FBI memo with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. There is a major disappointment, a major blow that the Trump administration delivered to some of its most loyal fans today.
Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019, awaiting his sex trafficking trial. According to a memo detailing the findings, investigators found the video showed no one entering the area in the overnight hours before Epstein.
I mean, I told you so's are in order for those who actually believed, even for a brief moment, that the Trump administration would ever actually reveal any of these details, if they would actually shed new light on this stuff. Of course they would not. Maybe after Trump dies? No, because only 30, 40, 50 years in the future, once every single person that's on the client list is long gone, would there potentially ever be declassification. Why would the federal government release information on the federal government's own intelligence community's blackmail operation and influence operation? Why would they do that? Y'all are crazy. Trump's labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, was straight up the South Florida prosecutor that gave Jeffrey Epstein his first sweet plea bargain deal. It's so funny to me that these guys go, oh my God, I can't believe that the Trump administration that is directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein are not revealing any new information and just basically saying the exact same things they personally said, the previous administration said that they actively petitioned against. How shocking. I can't believe the Trump administration is not only protecting themselves, but also all of the same wealthy people that the Democrats also protected, that the Republicans have also consistently protected. That's, wow, shocking stuff, shocking revelations.
But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. For years, Epstein has been at the center of conspiracies surrounding both his death.
Oh, never mind then. Guys, I mean, it's concluded. I guess it's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Pack it up. I didn't realize it was like that. Thank you. Thank you for informing me. I guess there's no reason to investigate this any further. Please stop. Please avert your invested and interested eyes away from this incident. The government has basically told you what's what. Now shut the up. Even Fox News was like, Cap.
According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing.
Dude, these guys, when they want to be, can become such amazing journalists, literally on the spot. It should remind you how indecent they are in every other instance. When every single one of these charlatans want to be a real journalist, like that follow-up is the bare minimum that every journalist is capable of doing. Knowing full well what the immediate retraction is going to look like, what the immediate response is going to look like. And he came in hot. He didn't have to go back. He didn't have to wait another day. Right on the spot. This is real journalism. And it's shocking that it's coming from a motherfucker like Peter Ducey of Fox News. Shocking. He did not miss a beat, dude. Look.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to...
Wait a minute. Wait a dang minute. What happened? I can't believe Epstein killed himself right before he was about to be acquitted due to a complete lack of evidence. Yeah, that's so crazy when you think about it, actually. Yeah. It seems like there was no evidence whatsoever, and he just felt kind of bad. There was a big stack of papers, and the papers were all empty, okay? It's interesting because they're not even doing the Democrats are the pedophile route on this one. They're not even doing the Democrat liberal elite were the pedophiles, and the Republicans are like, they didn't even sanitize the list to like remove the Republican names from it or whatever. They just straight up are like, nope, no list exists. JD Vance in 2021. What possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients secret? ... Oh. Jack Posobiec, are you paying attention yet? The DOJ and Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have made a deal that her little black book of contacts will never be made public. If you're a journalist and you're not asking questions about this case, you should be ashamed of yourself. What purpose do you even serve? I'm sure there's a middle-class teenager somewhere who could use some harassing right now, but maybe try to do your job once in a while. Yeah. A postmortem acquittal to Jeffrey Epstein. We were so wrong. Further evidence that if Jeffrey Epstein actually didn't die, didn't get killed, he could have just done the podcaster route and became a prominent fixture of Republican politics. And therefore, he could have had his reputation sanitized. And all of these guys would be talking about how Sigma Grindset he is and how dope he actually is. He was just actually just an ephebophile and not a pedophile. Like all these people would probably be doing that. That was, of course, JD Vance in 2021 when he was not the vice president. Remember that. Now that he is the vice president, I'm sure he has a very different approach to it.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, back in February, was asked if the Justice Department intended to release a list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Bondi saying this.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
And just last month, while feuding with President Trump, Elon Musk posting, time to drop the really big bomb. @real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. But Musk later deleted that.
Guys, don't look at that. Musk deleted it. Elon Musk deleted that. Okay, so it's not, you shouldn't use that. I mean, come on now. I mean, who amongst us hasn't accused their partner in crime of being a participator in an international sex trafficking scheme? It happens, you know?
What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crime?
It's so crazy because, like, this is the one thing that will brick some of the Trump camp. I said this before. I said this last time they, like, did this, like, brief release, right? Where it was nothing at all. Remember when all of the MAGA influencers they brought into the White House were, like, all celebrating, like, libs of TikTok? We're all celebrating about like, oh, Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It's coming out. This administration is so based. They're so based. You don't understand. Like, this is the one thing that those guys will actually not forgive nor forget. You can't create a base of support from conspiracy theorists, as the Trump admin did, and then have them not expect anything. You have to give them something. Like, it's the same with the anti-war people, right? If you run a campaign aggressively on being anti-war, some people are going to pay attention to that. Some people are going to believe that. So when you say you're going to be based in anti-war and then you don't actually turn around and be based in anti-war, some people will get frustrated with that. I know people who are ironically also on the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy side, which is not even like a conspiracy theory in my opinion. It's just the truth. They're going to be frustrated with this. They're going to be like, where the fuck is the info? What is this? What the hell is going on? Yeah, Bradley Martin is the example I was thinking of. For sure. And there are plenty of people like him. You have to remember, a part of the reason why I do this is because, like, there are a lot of people in the real world who operate like this.
Today we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. The big update, which is just that he had no client list and offed himself. That's according to Axios. In a big scoop, they apparently got a hold of this document from the US DOJ and FBI, kind of a joint statement.
Guys, you don't understand. So he was trafficking in no one and killed himself for no reason. Yeah. You don't understand. He was trafficking for no one and he was just doing it for the love of the game. He was just like a serial sex trafficker and pedophile, but just for himself. And all of the people that were, that he was hanging out with, like, they all just happened to really like his vibes, and they were not clients of his. The hours and hours and hours of videotapes that were uncovered in the raid, because his house, all of his houses were taped, okay? All of his houses had a ton of security cameras, and there were hours and hours of tapes that were recovered from these raids, and the tapes were named Like the tapes had names on them. He was just a guy who loves videography. He was just doing it for the love of the game. He was not filming people in his mansion doing sex crimes. Those people were just there because they loved chilling with Jeffrey. And they had no idea that he was a pedophile, even though he went to jail for it.
And then, Kash Patel goes on Joe Rogan and says, hey, there ain't no videos. If I had a video of a guy on an island committing a felony, don't you think you know about it?
Again, logical play out. If there was a video.
Yeah, come on, Joe. Don't you trust me? Literally the least trustworthy looking person that they could have found to do this. This was so funny because like Kash Patel always looks stressed up. He just looks so unimaginably stressed, possibly on some kind of upper. Like he could be telling you what he ate at lunch and I'd be like, dude, I don't think you ate whatever you're saying. You just look like a liar. No matter what you say, you look like you're a liar. But then on top of that, the things he was saying on the Joe Rogan Experience were so crazy that even the Joe Rogan stands were like, yeah, this is not going to float our boat. Doesn't trust me, Joe. Do I look like an untrustworthy person to you? Do I look like, as a part of the FBI's directive, I would hide information about a potential member, an asset of the intelligence community that was engaging in a high-profile sex trafficking and blackmail operation, Joe? I would not. That's why I was like, nah, no shot, dog. This motherfucker is definitely hiding it.
Of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island, and I'm in charge. Don't you think you'd see it?
It's already.
No. What have you done that would cause us to even have any confidence in you? What have you said or done that would instill confidence in me? You literally look like the least secure man in America, the least trustworthy man in America.
And so there already was a wedge with what we were sort of told we're going to get versus then they come out and say, hey, nothing to see here. And today is a little bit more of that. It's a little bit more of the finger wagging at the conspiracy theorists, which is ironic given that both Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who have now come out saying there's nothing to see here, guys, were saying, oh, there's a lot to see here before they got in.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide.
It's unbelievable. The guy killed himself.
Now, maybe that...
Yeah, one of the funniest aspects of this is literally that the people that also played a formative role in the public increasing their curiosity. And I think this was a mistake. I think they legit thought as long as we have these like conspiracy theory guys that have developed significant audiences in these spaces, as long as they are the primary communicators, people will trust them. People will just believe whatever the they say, not realizing that people care about this. Like they care about this a lot more than they care about Dan Bongino. Why would they even give about Dan Bongino? Who cares about Dan Bongino? The only reason why these people even developed an interest in what Dan Bongino was about was because he seemingly was trying to arrive at the truth.
That because they did a deep dive and they're just being honest with people.
Again, you want me to get... I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
But I think you deserve criticism if you're going to engage in this type of conspiracy.
Also, yeah, I mean, listen, Coffee, you're not thinking about how much Dan Bongino has suffered, okay? Think about how much Dan Bongino has suffered. I feel like this is really messed up, that CoffeeZilla is hitting him with this.
I gave up everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets... Well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there. He gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night.
Yeah, dude. I was a podcaster. I was working in the trenches. Now I have to be in a tiny office, and I have to hear Kash Patel drop the nastiest in the room next door. Think about how terrible this is. Why does nobody care? Why doesn't anybody care about me? What the I don't get to see my family anymore. I used to see them when I was podcasting.
I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
He gave up everything for this, dude. I need you to understand something here. It's like, whichever the next Democratic administration is, like, put me in charge of the FBI, okay? If I'm the deputy director of the FBI. Like, quite literally, in order for you to understand how psychotic this is, it's as though Democrats came back in charge, and then they put my ass as the deputy director of the FBI, okay? Because that's him. Dan Bongino is the me on the other side. Think about how psychotic that is. Anyway, let's get back to the primary purpose of why they did this and how much of a failure it's been so far.
Thinking, and then when it's convenient for you, you expect the trust of the people. If you're the one saying, like, hey, those guys can't be trusted, you become that guy, and you go, well, guys, you can trust me, right? When I'm going to say the exact same thing everyone's been saying this whole time. That's why it's so stupid. I mean, you guys set up all the wrong expectations. You told us we're going to reveal the truth, and now they're saying there's nothing to see here, and shame on you for thinking there was. And once again, this is more self-contradiction, because in this statement, we actually find immediately first page, second paragraph, saying that there's a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors. My question is, there's no one else in this statement. They admit.
Yeah, he was the one who was just doing all of the pedophilia. All of the people that have frequented his houses, they were always there for the vibes alone. Like, they were not there for the things that Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And also, given the density over numerous years, given the amount of times, like the amount of hours recorded in these tapes, someone must have randomly encountered Jeffrey Epstein doing the deed, right? Even if he was just doing it himself.
That Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. So you got 1,000 people, either some form of evidence that he harmed.
Like, what this is what's so crazy. It's like 1,000 plus victims. So Jeffrey did it just himself. In what time frame? 1,000 victims. Jeffrey did it just himself. He was just like a serial. While he was doing it so frequently, none of the people that were constantly going in and out, none of the wealthy clientele, well, not clientele, sorry, wealthy friends of Jeffrey Epstein that were going in and out of his house ever encountered this. Like former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, in 2016. Or even Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, who was dating one of the girls that Jeffrey Epstein was flying around. Prince Andrew, Alan Dershowitz, Bill Clinton.
Nobody else was involved? Epstein's around the most powerful people on the planet. 1,000 victims. No, nobody else. There's images and videos. Apparently, that's what they say. Nobody else is on camera, right? Because otherwise, that would mean that the FBI director went on Joe Rogan and told a lie, told a little fib.
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
No, I don't. Why would we think that you would reveal this information? What have you done so far that would lead us to believe that you would be an honest actor here? I don't think. And also, I was right. We were right for not thinking you would actually reveal this information. Because, like, go back to the video that I did on the Joe Rogan Experience with Kash Patel and Joe Rogan.
Now, here's what I got to say. Like, yeah, what? You didn't find the little notebook that had the, like, every guy that did something wrong on it? Yeah, obviously that's probably not going to exist, right? But if you have videos and somebody appears in the video doing something bad, it's not a client list, but that's a client, right? So I just find it so hard to believe. I just don't believe. I'm going to be honest. I do not believe that you had so many videos, apparently enough to catalog over 1,000 victims, and not a single other person other than Epstein appeared on any of them, right? He's friends with all these famous people. He got rich, and nobody knows how he got rich. People suspect that it was some form of blackmail, but the FBI seems to basically say this is a conspiracy theory. They say perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends of combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. You know, I actually agree with that. I do think we have to be careful not to jump to, conspiracy theories. The problem is when you release contradictory evidence, it makes people think that you're hiding stuff. Like that is not being helped in this release. I don't know if they're saying, oh, we're being so transparent here. Seems like...
Okay, to be fair to the FBI, I'm going to say this once again, but like they worked really hard on this blackmail operation. So don't you think it's a little inappropriate to demand that they ruin years and years of sexual blackmail material that they worked actively to cultivate? They worked really hard on it. In their defense, they worked really hard on it, and you guys are just trying to fuck up the bag, and it's messed up. Okay, it's messed up. Like joint CIA Mossad operation. It's disrespectful, really. Yeah, it is. It's disrespectful to demand that they turn over their work.